Now, how old were you when you decided, like, you know what, it's time to leave Marshallville and take my talents to Atlanta and other big surrounding markets that's in Georgia?
I was 18 going on 19.
So as soon as you graduated, you?
Well, I was at Fort Valley State for about a year. I want to say a full semester. And then things just kind of got hectic there. And it kind of forced me to move, you know. So at the time, there was somebody that I was talking to at the time, and they was going to school in Kennesaw, and I ended up just moving, you know. And once I got up here, I never turned back.
So you was like, ain't no going back now?
Nah, not at all.
Tell me about, was it a shock to you going to a bigger city at first because you're from such a small knit town, coming into a big city? What were some of the things that stood out to you, like off rip?
I want to say the pace of everything, because well, outside of the pace, the traffic, you know, the traffic here. It was overwhelming, you know, because, you know, back where I'm from, you can get on the interstate at any time and there's no traffic. You can get to where you're going. You understand? So it's like when you get on the interstate in Atlanta, you really have to plan for where you're going. You gotta really know where you're going, and if it's within the traffic time, you got to know how to adjust to getting there on time, including the traffic. You know, it seems like it's always an accident. People just don't know how to drive. You know what I'm saying? So
it was a shock, like, damn, all these people on the road at the same time.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you know, I was so closed in there. It was like when I used to come outside just to like smoke on the balcony and stuff, it's like just sitting on the balcony looking at all the cars in the parking lot. It's all Mercedes, Audis, Porsche, BMWs, and you know, you used to sit around looking at 2002 Camrys and 1999 Honda Civics, and you know, it's like that's the type of stuff you used to see. It make you want to
go get it.
But the thing is what got me was that these children they were the same age as me. You know what I'm saying? We all 18 to 19. And y'all telling me that y'all got credit cards and your daddy paying your rent and y'all got Beamers too? What? You know, it's kind of like, bro, what's going on up here?
I think what a lot of people, I had that same encounter when I first came to Atlanta. The younger black student or young black adult, this market is very upper echelon, and you think because you thinking because at 18 your mind is very small. So if you come in here at 18, you thinking like, well, everybody gonna be like how I was at home. It's black people. Well, no. Here it's a different kind of black people. It's black people that they got some money and they got things going on to where you being 18 and they kids being 18, it's two different things.
Yeah, most definitely.
Did that make you want to feel like, man, I gotta figure out what to do, and I gotta get shit moving because they already moving, and I feel like I need to catch up.
Yeah, I was more so like everybody else around me doing something. I don't know what they doing, but everybody got something going on, and you know, even just the traffic, you know, every time, not traffic like as far as like being standstills, but I mean like the way people are moving. That's what I get when I get back to pace. And it's like everybody is doing something. I was like, how can I get a part of this? You know, and I really sat back for a little minute and I seen what was going on.
Now,
you know?
Now, what led you into, at this time when you came here, were you already into music at this time, or were you doing music back in Marshallville?
Yeah, I mean, I always been doing music, and you know, outside of doing it at an early age, I started doing things like recording, going to the studios when I was early in college and stuff like that, you know. But I never had the proper resources that I knew I needed, you know, and when you looking on TV and you seeing so many other people in these big studios that got these soundboards and as you look And just looking at people have a studio in their own house. That is like, for me, it was something, I was like, how can I do that?
It was far-fetched, seemed like.
Very far-fetched, though.
Yeah.
Even just moving to Atlanta was very far-fetched.
Yeah.
You know? Because moving here I can't say it ain't something I didn't want to do, but I never knew the opposite. Like it says, like, you don't realize something is happening right then and there.
You ain't
like,
grasping it.
I didn't
at the
grasp
time.
it. You know? So when I moved, I'm just thinking it's just appeasing the situation that I was moving for. You know? But I realized that transition is what I had needed, though.
Now, when you got to Atlanta and you started doing music, was it different for you than doing it at home? What was some of the differences from doing music in Atlanta and getting your feet going here versus doing it at home?
Well, for one, the resources. You know, you could run in. It amazed me. Like for when I first moved here, let's say like 2015, I didn't even know about Lenox Mall, and for like the first 3 years that I was here. Wow. I heard about it, but I had never been there, none of that type of stuff. And honestly, like my first time going to Lenox probably was 2019. And I had been up here since like 2014, 2015. You get what I'm saying? Wow. All I knew was like Kennesaw, Marietta. Because that's how limited my mind was on trying to go. I was like, nah, I ain't trying to get lost. You know, it's for me, it was easy to get lost here. So it's just, when I started getting out, I started to see like, dog, bruh, you said who was here? Who was just in here?
And you know, really in there.
Yeah, and it's like, dang, and it make you want to be like, okay, so all I got to do is just be in the area. I got to be in the building, put yourself in position. So I started to find out like, bro, you got to really get out and network. You know, you
can't be sitting in the house.
Yeah, you got to be pulling up at these events, these open mics and stuff. Like, even if you ain't performing, pull up and see what the competition like. You know, like it's a lot of things that as far as people, like the stuff that people do here, everybody in Atlanta got a hustle that they doing. You get what I'm saying? And 10 people can have the same hustle, but they eating. Back home, it's got to be one person who's the big promoter, one person who's doing everything with the studio. And it's like, if you don't get down with him, then what? Because he the one that got the big studio. Right. As opposed to in Atlanta, it's 50 studios.
Yeah, and ain't nobody. Caliber of artists you meeting is different. So when you go to that open mic, this guy really got a following, and he might be from another market. So you able to tap in with so many different people right here in this one city. What
made me want to get my shit together was the image, though. I always knew how to dress, but when I came up here, I was like, boy, these niggas get fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, these dudes 19, 20-year-old like me, and they got on Versace, Gucci, you know. And then, of course, you start finding out about the pop-up shops and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, bro, not all them people going in there buying that real shit.
Some of that shit fake.
Some of that shit fake. You know what I'm saying? So it got me to a point where I understood why they was chasing that, though. Because it's like, everybody know, just being an artist, your image is everything. Man, you know, that's a big part of it.
And nowadays, it's not only the way you dress, but then you got to put it on for social media.
You got to.
So now you know, not only do you need to be seen in a city like this, but the people that's not, you know, here and can find you on social media, they need to feel it too.
Yeah, you know, and you got to be consistent with it. You know, it's like here in Atlanta, I can say for the first few years, I did get lost in the sauce for a minute. You know, I fell for the bait, you know, because I came here thinking that's what you got to do to get on. And it's like, I think you failing to realize that you're just in an area with people who look just like you, but they have more resources so they can do more of the things that you would like to do.
What's some of the things you did do here in Atlanta that you did feel benefited you as an artist? What's some of the things that you did do that was like, you know what? I did this thing and it really got me some new fans, or I did this thing and it got me some new listeners. What's the things that you did do that ended up working for you here?
I think the biggest thing that I could have did for myself here was accepting that where I'm at is completely different, and understanding that I gotta adjust in order to maintain and get myself in the position of where I want to be. And it forced me to get out and network, you know, things that I'm not used to doing. Because I had started to notice people in the city, they treat, when you from the country and they find out you're a country nigga, they treat you a little different, you know? And it made me become comfortable with myself. You know, as like, I think that's one of the most important things, because
and be proud about where you're from and the circumstances that you're different, and it's okay. And
I understand that an artist don't have my story, you know, and for years it took me a long time to embrace that and embody it, because it's like, while you up here trying to fit in, not necessarily with your music, but you trying to look like them, it's like, I always used to see people and be like, well, he put that on. But if I had that, I would have did it this way. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, once I got myself in a position to be self-reliant enough to do that, that's what I did. You know, so it was easy for me then to understand, like, it's all a game. You know, and you can't get caught up in it. You got to understand that these people that you be seeing is either one or two things. They either getting fast money and losing it faster, or they getting that money for real and they keeping that money. You know? And that's what I started to realize, you know, like, even with a lot of the jobs that I was picking up, you know, it's like you start to ride around the city and see these big old houses, and it's like, damn, people really out here living like this.
They getting it.
You know, they getting it. And when you see that it's black people, it shouldn't surprise you that it's black people. But it's like, if I never seen this before, of course it's gonna be something that is a surprise to me.
It's a shock.
Yeah,
it's a big shock. It's a shock, I think, for a lot of people, not. Especially like for me, technically being from the Midwest, it's more white people than black people in Ohio. So when you come down to a market like this and you see black doctors, black lawyers, like it's the black, they pulling up in the Benz. And it's like, whoa, because we, like you said, used to seeing somebody in a Camry, a little Nissan. You ain't used to seeing a lot of black people like this, and and it ain't necessarily always legit either. So the fact that it's legit in this market,
and that's one thing that got me, because, you know, before I found out what scamming was and the different ways you can get money up here, I thought everybody was getting it legit.
Oh nah,
you know, excuse me, I thought everybody was really out here grinding.
Nah. When you found out about the finesse culture, was that a shock?
It was. Because for me, it's like, coming from where I come from, that type of money don't just flow around like that. You know? You saying all because you know somebody information, y'all can go and bust down a $10,000, $20,000 check, and you come out with however much, you know what I'm saying? But you can do that how many times a week? You know what I'm saying? So it just had me like, bruh, do you know what I would be doing with that money? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just made me really, that's when I really started to appreciate where I was from and that pace, because it's like,
they're trying to keep up. So you're doing anything to keep up.
Doing anything. You down there crash dummy, you know, just for the next lick, for the next high. And I never wanted to be like that. I just wanted to be fully self-reliant, you know. And when I started to realize how much money that was just accessible, it had me to a point where I was like, man, I got to get it like they is, but I got to find out how to get it the legit way.